Yeah, and then I said, not in my kitchen. Oh, man. Yeah, all right. Are we rolling on this? You said that I set this up myself? And so I'm just pretending to talk to someone? Hi, my name is Drew Harelchak, and I am auditioning for the role of Drew Harelchak as a Kennedy. I feel pretty qualified for the role because I've been Drew Harelchak for a while now. But I also feel like it would be stretching because I'm not a Kennedy yet. Yeah. A story in 5 parts.
I'm glad you chose the underdog. Yeah. We both needed space to grow. Whoa. You approached me on your guard. Yeah. I'm happy that you took me home.
Yeah, it only feels right to tell you about who I am over the last 4 years being inside of Finn, because he's been such a large part of me over the last couple of years. I used to do these things called 2-Minute Tuesdays, where I would take a 60-minute podcast, summarize it in 2 minutes, giving you back in theory 58 minutes in your life. I'd ask for permission if I could do that, but it's a video and it really probably only be nostalgic for me. 2 minutes on the clock. Thank you so much, Adobe Premiere Pro. Okay, so in 2017, a buddy and I ran a fake campaign for president of our university, inspired by all the ridiculousness of the 2016 presidential election. We didn't tell anyone it was fake though, and somehow got a real sponsorship from Johnsonville Sausage, the official sausage of the Harelchak Norris campaign, and they sent us like 40 pounds of sausage to grill out. Our university paper questioned our level of social awareness and respect. It was awesome. Then, because all of our social media engagement, yada, 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 I was able to get sponsored to play disc golf through Europe. I'm not that good at disc golf, but I am good at emailing companies. When I got home, I realized I just loved emailing companies. And so I thought to myself, what if I tried to become the most sponsored man, quantity-wise, of all time, even though there's really no reason for me to be? And then I just started blasting emails to companies that I loved.
It's Trader Joe's entire frozen fruit ecosystem that's overperforming. I mean, soul of a black tea, but the refreshing nature that comes from an herbal tea. I guess what I'm trying to say, Kroger, is that in the words of Biz Marquis, you got what I need.
We had like 98 followers on Instagram, and we just all commented at these companies and got sponsored by AeroPress and GoPro. And for the record, and also my own pride, it was 2018 and the influencer marketing, it was still a form of commentary on the whole situation. All I know is that we could collectively bargain our attention. And it was around this time that my friend's parents were selling Finn, this gorgeous 1994 Dodge Explorer, for no money at all. And I still didn't have enough money to buy it. So I convinced a friend to buy it with me. And then the idea became, well, what if we take Finn, travel around the country, interview our sponsors, and just the most interesting people we could get in touch with. And so that's kind of what we did. We did this podcast called Inside Finn, where I interviewed people inside Finn. Then while we were on the road, the sunflower seed company sent us 432 bags of sunflower seeds, and we realized that we couldn't eat 432 bags of sunflower seeds. So then Drew Sells Out entered its final form to become the most sponsored man of all time, to give it to the people and to stick it to the man. And that's what we did. We got sponsored by the Stroopwafel company and this coffee company and went door to door giving people Stroops on the stoop. Gave away like 40 pounds of Stroopwafels. We gave sunflower seeds away wherever we were. Gave away a bunch of vegetables in the nude on a bicycle for the zero waste grocery store called Nude Foods out of Boulder. It was awesome. But after 3 years of living on and off on the van, I just wanted to post up in a spot and not be on the internet at all. Yeah, in 2022, I paused Drew Sells Out, maybe indefinitely, maybe not indefinitely, still on the hunt for the most sponsored man of all time, and moved to Portland, Oregon. And I've just kind of spent the last year doing non-digital work and really just trying to get involved in the community. And I will continue to do that. And I think now I've just had enough period of time of rest where I have a desire, again, to be surrounded by people who are smarter than me and more creative than me and drive me to make better things. And you might be saying, Drew, none of these projects sound very profitable, and you would be right. So how did you make money over the last 4 years? Very fair question. So I haven't had a W-2, but over the last 4 years, I have started a roofing inspection company that inspected roofs for hail damage via drone. Started a Beer of the Month club called Local Brews that did mini documentaries on breweries and delivered their 4 best beers to people's doors. I was the interim CEO for a company called ZipChip that makes tiny silicone frisbees that fit in your pocket and fly 200 feet, the greatest invention of all time. And I also ran social media for some old folks' retirement homes in Ohio and Kentucky. Any of those things are going to take more than 2 minutes to explain. Yeah. I think that seems right.
Because this video is getting kind of long and because I believe in truth for the people, I would hack into the mainframe at Tootsie Roll Industries. I believe that Mr. Turtle was right when he said that Mr. Owl was the wisest of the animals. And I believe that he's been sitting on the information for decades of how many licks it takes to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop. I won't, but one could argue that a lot of society's unrest deals with the ambiguity surrounding Tootsie Pops. And yes, maybe there are studies by Purdue and the University of Florida, but I want my information straight from the source, and you know they've been holding on to it for some time. Also, the fact that Tootsie Roll Industries is not a subsidiary of anyone and has a 2-letter ticker symbol was mind-blowing to me. I don't mean to be the guy that takes a lighthearted question and makes it heavy, but I do think that there is a thought pattern that I see present in myself and my contemporaries that everything is effed and there's nothing we can do about it, and I think that that's dangerous. The old adage is true that the man who thinks he can and the man who thinks he can't are both usually right. And I just think it's very important what ideas we believe. I'm not saying that there aren't problems. There are so many problems. It's not just the economy. It's not just the environment. It's not just civil injustice. It's not our shortening attention spans or the greater divide between the rich and the poor. It's all of it. But one of my favorite contemporary thinkers, Mark Sayers, has a phrase that crisis precedes renewal. He often means it in a religious context, but I think it's true across the board. I think we are entering a period of time of crisis, but it's an opportunity for renewal, for how we do everything across the board. And the first step to positive change is believing that it's possible, and Western pessimism undercuts that. Convince us that green is the best color. Easy, straightforward, concrete. So easy, I don't even need to leave my room to prove it to you. So easy, I wasn't even reading anything off. Memorized it. Roll the tape.
You know, if you're watching this video, you're probably inhaling oxygen and exhaling CO2. And who do you got to thank for that system? These guys. Also, look how this guy shoots out a leaf. Dude, he just boom, little leaf jet. Isn't that crazy? And he's got some little leaf jet friends too. I called this little guy Phil, short for chlorophyll, you know, absorbing sunlight and whatnot. Because green is just the story of growth. You know, one day you start off as this little guy and then eventually end up as a full-size big guy. That's the dream. You know, what else we got in my room? We got this poster, but I'm not really digging the glare. So I'm gonna do this to get the glare off. And I feel, one, I just already feel like you're coming at me with the collar shirt sweatpant look, and I just want to say that I wouldn't come at you in your home at that. But either way, this is as good a time as any, as I struggle to keep this poster up for an embarrassing long period of time, to talk about green and how, yeah, you got, you know, green being for new for something, right? You're kind of green, right? You're new to it, but that's growth, baby, you know, and the naivete and the beginner's mindset. And yeah, I'm still struggling with this poster, but I think that green ultimately is, you know, it's, okay, this is really fresh. I think I'm gonna put it in a different location because what we got just ain't working. And now, I mean, look at those shades of green. That's beautiful. And then you can see my goats. The dude on the back left, his name is Enrique, and the dude in the front right, his name is Papua New Guinea. I'm not sure if those are good goat names, but I haven't really named too many goats. And then moving on, we got some O'Keefe's hardworking hands. You know, they say supple hand, supple mind. I think Gandhi said that. That's not true. But it's also not provable that he didn't say that. So other green things in my room include this series of essays and lectures by Emerson. And also equally important is the Big Salad script from Seinfeld. Okay, and this is for real. Emerson wrote this in 1841, saying on our own inner genius that these are the voices which we hear in solitude, but they grow faint and inaudible as we enter the world. And that society is a joint stock company in which the members agree for the better securing of his bread to each shareholder to surrender the liberty and culture of the eater. The virtue most in request is conformity. And if only he knew how prophetic that was. And this is completely unrelated. I wanted to get a stoplight in my room because I thought the phrase, "you can't go without green," sounded sick. But there's not enough traffic in my room to justify a stoplight. So instead, I give you the Sir Hemp Sandlord. I dare you to find a better named hacky sack anywhere. Thank you for your time.
There's like a million things that I'd like to make right now that I don't have the resources for. To bring it down to two of varying levels of scope and human benefit. First, to make a long story short, I grew up in an extremely heavy baseball family. My brother played professional baseball for a while, and until I was 17, I didn't see a future where I wasn't trying to do that. Then through a really impactful conversation with my brother and an overwhelming spiritual experience that made me realize I didn't have to live in a shadow, I decided to stop playing baseball, went to school in another part of the country, and didn't play sports hardly all at college. During COVID, though, I got really into tennis, and because no one in my family plays tennis, there's no one to compare to. And so it's like I rediscovered a love of practice and seeing what my body is capable of. So the journey of 5-0 in 500 days would be to become a 5-0 tennis player, which is a tennis ranking that's like a decent college player, and just to see if it's possible, if I could do that. In order to do that, though, it would take me like 30 hours of playing tennis a week and a coach, and it's just not feasible right now. The second thing I'd like to work on is a bit more conceptual, and I don't quite know how to do it yet, but I do think it's possible. I've realized what frustrates me the most is when intermediaries who aren't doing as much of the work get a disproportionate amount of the rewards. Banks making way more than businesses that they're loaning to, insurance companies making way more than doctors, university administrators making way more than professors. Simultaneously, I've realized that new channels of advertising can be created. You couldn't run a radio ad before radio, a TV ad before the TV, couldn't run a social media ad before Facebook. With what's possible with the internet today, maybe with blockchain, I don't know, I'd like to create advertisements where the humans and communities who are getting advertised to get the money, or at least a larger share of the money, rather than Instagram or Facebook or TikTok or these intermediaries that we're using to advertise. It was kind of one of the things that I loved about Stroops on the Stoop, where communities directly benefited because people were just getting coffee and stroopwafels on their front porch, and the stroopwafel company and coffee company benefited because their stroopwafels and coffee were in the hands of people, but then also a video is made about the whole process.